Okay, folks, we're about to get started. Oh, my mic is very hot. I will fix that. Hopefully that's better. There we go. Hit that like, share the show. Oh, thanks so much for gifting the memberships. Look at that. Shanjur, thank you. Xie. Oh yes, I think that's the transfer. That's when we wake up. There we are. Hi everybody, welcome to the show. How you doing? It's Alan Sparks Megaworldwide. We're live in Orlando, Florida, and out just to my left here, looking out the window, I can see the Magic Kingdom, the castle itself, right there. Which around about 9 o'clock tonight will torture every small dog in a 100-mile radius with the loudest fireworks I have ever heard. Summer and I have been waking up. Whether we went to bed on time or not, to fireworks outside of our window, which has been lovely, and they're amazing. It's incredible, but it's every night, and it's a lot. We're enjoying it because we get to leave tomorrow, but I can only imagine what it's like. Just give up on your dream of owning a Pomeranian is my message to everyone in the general Orlando area. It's fantastic. By the way, thank you very much for folks becoming a member. That's really awesome. I'm going to move this up here so we can see it a little better. That's better. There we go. It's always difficult when you're in the middle of, I don't know what to be dressed like. Do I have another something to show you that's the nerd gift thing today? I suppose I do, but one of them's going to be a big surprise. One of them's going to be a big surprise for the weekend because Mark Hamill is joining us. It's kind of a giveaway. You kind of know what it is, but you kind of don't. So it's pretty cool. So Mark Hamill's joining us for Sexy Liberal Chicago. Get your live stream tickets now at sexyliberal.com. But so I had to pick up something that I could get him to autograph, as it were, that would also have function as well as form, as it were. Just trust me on that. It's pretty cool. So welcome. Hi. It's impossible to be on vacation and only on once a day to cover all the madness that is happening right now. There is just no frigging way. There's no way. So partly, I have a couple of things to share with you tonight. We're going to bounce around, and then Summer and I have dinner plans once again. And then after tomorrow, back to abnormal. As such. So just letting you guys know, thank you guys for your patience while I've been having a vacation week with Summer for her birthday, which was Monday, and you guys were very lovely in your messaging to her, and I appreciate it, and she appreciates it. It was adorable and lovely, and we ate at the Space Restaurant at Epcot Center last night as sort of a belated birthday dinner, and it was awesome because you pretend right up, you go up in the elevator, and you pretend right up on a space elevator all the way into outer space, and then you sit at a revolving restaurant, or I guess it's just sitting still. It's attached by a tether to Cape Canaveral or wherever we are, and you can kind of, it's pretty great. It was just fun, really nerdy and stupid, but also very fun. And I got to say, for the record, Guardians, the Guardians ride, which is now at Epcot Center, I think hands down, babe, best ride, easily. Like it's like Star Tours meets Tokyo Drift. I don't know how else to just or like Space Mountain meets Tokyo Drift. And it's a full-on roller coaster, but it's also like it turns sideways while you're spinning around. It's just great. It's as roller coaster fans go, and I don't know how many roller coaster fans we have out there. Let's actually let me check in with the chat. Your favorite roller coaster? I'm a bit persnickety about mine. I enjoy a good roller coaster, but I don't know if you guys have have ever ridden that one. But man, oh man, yeah, it was super good. What were the other good ones?
Different songs every time you go.
Oh yeah, it's a different song every time you go. So, although we got the same song twice, but it changes. Space Mountain is great. We were big fans of Space Mountain. We're old school Space Mountain fans, but this is like Space Mountain for the 21st century. That's all I'm gonna say. It was very cool. And then the Aerosmith ride. The Aerosmith roller coaster is awesome, and I'm not just saying that because at one point you fly past a sign for the Whiskey a Go Go. I'm not just saying that personally, but awesome, just super fun. And you watch the Guardians ride in VR. It's awesome. Oh, I didn't even know it was available in VR. And you fly past the Earth and the Moon, and it tilts you sideways as you go. So you have this kind of like parallax spin around the Earth and the Moon. It's a physical globe that's right there. It's just super fun. And Aerosmith, I gotta say, I don't know when they recorded the thing for them. My dad was calling me all of a sudden on me. I don't know when they filmed this, but it looks like they did it in 91. I don't know what to tell you. I like they either reverse aged them all, using Benjamin Button tech, or they did this a long time ago, and then this is how long it took them to make the ride, which is also entirely possible. How you feel by the Earth? Did you lock your doors? Yes, I did. So, anyways, that was fun. Thought I'd share that. Off we go. There's a lot to cover today, but right out of the gate, I would like to say that we covered a little bit yesterday of the Elon Musk Donald Trump interview, and he released a cleaned up version of it where he used AI to smooth out Trump's voice. That's what happened. Don't let anybody tell you different. That's exactly what he did. Trump's lisp was not caused by technological sibilance. You can hear him lip flap from the side when he's talking. You can tell a lateral lisp and a regular lisp when you hear them. This is not something that's caused by an overloaded microphone or something. They literally, he's got the phone in front of it. He did a cleanup. Anyways, point being is that audio, the cleaned up audio, is now available. And you would think that the huge fans of Trump that are doing everything they can to throw themselves in front of the bus for him, you'd think they would use that version. You'd think the Greg Kellys of the world, you see where I'm going with this? You know what's coming. You'd think the Greg Kellys of the world would use the cleaned up version so that they could paint Trump in the best light possible. And you, my friend, would be wrong. You would be terribly, terribly, terribly wrong. And I'll give you an example. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. This is a Greg Kelly clip from yesterday, I believe. And Greg Kelly breaks down the must-see moments. I know what you're thinking. How? Must-see? Must-see? It was audio only. Yeah. Exactly. The must-see moment. He's just dicking around with him, putting two S's in there that don't need to be there. It was audio only. Must see. All right, anyways. Moments from Elon Musk and Donald Trump interview. Again, audio only. All right, now, on top of that, if I may, I have not listened to this, and we probably won't have time to do all of it because it's 15 minutes long, but there is a, let's see, where is it? Hold on. Let me pause this. Yeah, so he uses these images, uses old, like, picture from the 90s of Trump, but he uses the picture of Elon Musk at that, like, fetish ball thing he went to with his mother where he's wearing demonic armor. Do you guys remember that? That they all thought he was a devil worshiper because he showed up wearing this? And I don't know what the earth is doing there. I don't know. Somebody else must have put this together. I don't know if this is this the image? Because if this was if this was Greg Kelly's choice of outfits, like, Jesus. You guys don't remember that? Like the whole big he's a Satanist and all that stuff that they were talking about. I'll see if I can look it up. But in the meantime, away we go. Also, I don't know why it's choppy at the beginning.
Absolutely amazing. And 1 month ago today, isn't that, it seems like a year. And it seems in certain quarters like it's been forgotten. Actually, a lot of folks would like us to forget about this moment. And if we do that, it could happen again.
Also, what? How is it that a lot of people want us to forget this moment? No, it's just that it's utterly forgettable. We live in such an insane timeline that it is forgettable. Him getting winged in the ear by one of his own supporters shooting at him in a poorly attended rally in a field in Pennsylvania because he refuses to pay for actual indoor venue security and always stiffs the town with the bill. It's why I think it was in this place. Hold on. In Asheville, North Carolina, this one right here, he had to pay in advance for the venue because they were like, you stiffed us last time, you jerk. So, all right, here we go.
This was special, really, really special. Corey, comparator, lost his life. 2 people very seriously wounded. President Trump.
Yeah, you're naming the dead guy, but you don't want to name the people who were seriously wounded. Why is that? Oh, because they're still suing him?
Almost died. A remarkable conversation last night between Elon Musk, of all people, and President Trump. They spoke about this, and a lot of other things. It was this point that Elon made off the top, though, that I thought was spot on. I never thought of it this way, though.
This is Greg. By the way, you'll notice that one of the reasons why Greg Kelly is playing more Elon-related clips, honestly, is because he's trying not to play Trump audio because he's slurring his speech and lisping like crazy.
I think your actions in the heat of fire, and like what I found admirable there was that you can't fake bravery under such circumstances. The courage is instinctual or it is not.
Yes, you can. And also, what's the difference between bravery and bravado? Bravery is you push all those security people out of the way and stand there without anyone in front of you and you put your fist up. That's bravery. Letting them cover all your vital organs while you reach over top of them, making sure that if you get shot, it'll be because the bullet like ricocheted off of them, off their skull first. That's not bravery. Endangering the lives of your Secret Service detail because you've been told the shooter is down and it never occurred to you there might be another one, or to think it through, and you're just like, screw it, I want to do something provocative. Like, again, being such the fist motion, if he'd have done it after he got out of the hospital, it would have had the same moral effect. It was foolhardy and stupid in this situation, and it also points to why a lot of people think it was a setup.
It's not a rehearsed action. And so I just want to say that I think a lot of people admire your courage under fire there. And yeah, so
thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Is the audio choppy for you guys? It's choppy in my ears, but it might just be because of my headphones. Yeah. 71K? What? Templeton, merci beaucoup, Dorian.
You can't fake bravery.
Yes, you can. You absolutely can fake bravery. You know, one of the ways you do it is you do it with a woman wearing a bulletproof vest, putting her head in front of your heart. Look at that picture. Look where that woman's head is. She's literally putting her body in between where the shooter was and where he was. This is just dumb.
It that way. That's why a lot of Democrats and the culture in general would like us to forget this. They can't say Donald Trump is all talk, it's just bluster. No, we saw bravery. And
No, we didn't. No, we didn't. We saw bravado after he had been told that the shooter was down and they were cleared to move him and he was safe. And obviously his head's not a vital organ. His brain isn't a vital organ in this case, but his entire body was shielded by these people. This is right before they take him down the stairs and get rid of him. Got to get him out in a vehicle.
Had a remarkable 2 hours with President Trump last night, thanks to Elon Musk. 1 billion people listened to this.
Bullshit.
A 2-hour conversation.
No. 1 billion people did not listen to that conversation. Get out of here. Didn't happen. Never happened. That's ridiculous. That is insanity. And no, 1 billion people did not listen. There are not 1 billion people. Good Lord. Thank you, Tom. Appreciate it. I should move this down here so it can be seen better. That's good. Yeah, there we go. That's better. Thanks so much. No, 1 billion people did not, by any measure, listen to that interview. That is just absurd. That just means that's how you know how many bots are on Twitter. You ever wonder how many bot accounts there are on Twitter? That's how many.
And it was just that. It doesn't have to be adversarial. This is how Elon started it. He's a brilliant engineer. More on him in a moment.
No, he isn't. He's not a brilliant engineer.
He's also
he hires brilliant engineers.
A regular guy. And he said what he wanted to.
Yeah, a regular guy with, he's blamed most of his behavior on Asperger's. Probably just an asshole.
With the president.
It's really intended to just get a feel for what Donald Trump is just like in a conversation. It's hard to catch a vibe about someone if you just don't hear them talk in a normal way. And when there's an adversarial interview, like no one's themselves in an adversarial interview.
Yes, they are. Yeah, you are. You're yourself in an adversarial interview, just like you're yourself in a friendly interview. It brings out your best or your worst behavior. As a matter of fact, in an adversarial interview, that's where you have an opportunity to rise above the tone or the attitude of the interviewer. You're always you, stupid. I want to see what you're like in a relaxed setting, no pressure, like the presidency.
and this is really aimed at kind of open-minded, independent voters who just trying to make up their mind. So you can understand, like, what is...
Good Lord, get over yourself. Hold on, I'm going to skip ahead because it's boring as hell. But it's just him chit-chatting at Trump.
Donald, great to speak.
Just a casual conversation. He's a little bit nervous there. It's not the most polished thing in the world. It's authentic, and we love it.
It's not authentic. It's disconnected. He was so busy trying to kiss his ass while the interview was flailing, because they kept having issues with the actual interview getting up online. Now, again, this very well may have been because Trump wanted some sort of a guaranteed delay and they couldn't provide him with one, or they were giving him one after a while, like that the interview would be as live but not actually, right? Which was more than likely what we're talking about happening. Like, him bloviating, on Trump's behalf is not just authentic nervousness. Elon doesn't people very well.
Polished interviewers, right? The ones who, come in guns blazing. We don't need that anymore.
So the biggest scandal was when they spied on my campaign. They spied on my campaign.
There's no
Leslie.
real evidence of that.
Of course there is.
No.
It's all over the place. Leslie,
Sir.
they spied on my campaign.
They didn't spy on his campaign, by the way. They absolutely didn't. She's right. He's ridiculous. They didn't spy on his campaign.
And they got caught.
Can I say something? This is 60 Minutes, and we can't put on things we can't verify.
You won't put it on because it's bad for Biden. Clinton never accepted.
Again, also, why would the Obama administration, allegedly, even with Biden as vice president, spying on behalf of Hillary Clinton, which is the allegation, why would that be bad for Biden? Why would that have any impact on him whatsoever? Why would they be running cover for Joe Biden over something that he alleges Obama did to benefit Hillary that he didn't do?
She conceded on him. She still doesn't accept him, and we're lower than the world.
Lower than the world.
Lower than here's case death.
Yeah, Greg, I don't know what you're showing here, buddy, but it does this is just a great example of Trump being insane.
You can't do that. You have
Why
to go.
can't I do that?
You have to go. They saw this happening, and he went to the Attorney General of the United States, and he told them indict Trump.
There's just no evidence of that, Mr.
why?
President.
Because you mean
but let's stay on
Look at
track.
all the lies he's.
Also, by the way, can I just say real quick, and I know this is, I know I'm insane for trying to even bring this point up, but Greg Kelly's making the point that the reason why the Elon Musk Trump interview was good was because it wasn't adversarial. Elon didn't come in attacking Trump. All these clips so far are Trump being defensive before he's attacked on something. This is actually him attacking reporters and I wouldn't say being defensive, but them defending their network and their interviews. Literally, it's like he asked someone to get him these clips, and they got him the exact opposite.
President, I want to talk.
And they get points. They get points with their friends. They get points with their bosses for being a jerk to President Trump.
They get points with their readers and their viewers who actually want him pressed on these things, and he always seems to get a pass.
And saying things that they don't know to be fact. When you're the president of the United States or a former president of the United States, you actually know a lot more than most people. It's true.
Really? Really? Greg, let me get this straight. You personally think that Barack Obama and Joe Biden know more than you do about anything? I mean, they're both of them been president of the United States, Greg. You think it's just automatic? Because I don't believe you believe that.
All right, back to Elon Musk and this very special thing. They call it Twitter Spaces or X Spaces, sorry. He is an American citizen. He became one in 2002. Brilliant guy, although he did drop out of a graduate program at Stanford after 2 days. Kind of like that. Next,
why do you like that? What do you think? He's anti-intellectual because he dropped out of Stanford?
He is worth $241 billion. SpaceX, Tesla, that's all him. And he bought Twitter for $44 million and $44 billion, sorry. And he's going to vote.
Yeah, and it was worth every penny.
For Trump. Back to the conversation they had. He's kind of not afraid to, God
damn, it's been a while. The tongue jutting is getting to me way more than it should.
questions that he might not know the answer to and explain things that need explaining. I thought this was great.
A lot of people just don't understand where inflation comes from. Inflation comes from government overspending because the checks never bounce when it's written by the government. So if the government spends far more than it brings in, that increases the money supply. And if the money supply increases faster than the rate of goods and services, that's inflation.
No. That would be monetary inflation. That would not just be standard inflation. Inflation can be caused by all kinds of things. One of them would be high demand, low supply. That'll cause inflation. If you don't have as much as people want, the price goes up. Don't believe me? Ask a scalper. That is the extreme version of a supply-demand inflationary cycle. Tickets worth more than that people are selling them for. And you shouldn't come as any surprise that post-COVID, with the entire world shut down and everybody trying to get their hands on everything, the price for everything went up. Does this asshole actually think that the price of eggs went up because of avian flu or because of government debt? We throw the word genius around. It just annoys me. You're cheapening the word. You're putting crap eyeshadow and bad lipstick on the word genius, and it's upsetting.
So really, we need to have we need to reduce our government spending, and we need to re-examine. I think we need like a government efficiency commission to say like, hey, where are we spending money that's sensible? Where is it not sensible? Right. And
we have those committees. That's what committees actually do. But again, most Republicans that are voted into office just want to kill programs as opposed to make them more efficient. They don't think they should exist. So why would you want to make something work more efficiently and actually function and be, an increased value for the citizen if you want to kill it off in the first place? Your only impetus is to make it worse, more expensive, crappier. That's why you can just load it up with pork and then go, see, I told you government can't do anything, right?
We need to live within our means. We're currently adding, I think, $1 trillion to the deficit roughly every 100 days. That's right. And the interest payments on the national debt have now exceeded the defense budget. It's on the order of $1 trillion.
It's interest,
and it keeps growing.
I rebuilt our military, largely rebuilt our military. Did a great job on it, which was so important. We had jets, we had fighters that were.
We had fighter jets we had fighters that were unbelievable, if I have to say so myself.
And bombers that were 70 years old. And we did.
They were 70, 60, maybe 67 years old, 60, maybe 67.
Great job in that. Then we gave 85 billion of it back to Afghanistan, if you can believe it. We gave them.
Yes, Afghanistan.
85 billion. They're one of the largest sellers of military equipment in the world. They're selling what we gave them.
They're selling everything. They're selling. Again, this is what I was talking about. You would think that Greg Kelly would go back and use the cleaned up audio, but he can't. He can't do it. It's been cleaned up. He's just not using it because he can't wait to throw himself on a grenade for Trump.
That was one of the most embarrassing days in the history of our country. But if you think of...
You know what I like about this conversation? I got to say, Greg's right. At least he's not talking like somebody doing a stump speech or just repeating phrases we've heard before. This is down-home Donald Trump. You know what I mean? This is him just kind of conversing and shooting the shit. You know what I mean? You can almost hear him just in the background, just kind of, eating a fish delight and a fistful of fries and going, hey, let's just gab.
Let's go back to the economy. We have to bring energy prices down. Energy started it. The price of gas.
Energy did start it.
Now,
the interview. The audio is quiet on the interview. Okay, I'll see if I can bring that up.
Cars don't require too much gasoline, so you have a good, and you do make a great product. I have to say. I have to be honest with you.
Thank you.
A lot of this we have heard before. You've heard it. I've heard it. But there are.
Right. That's why it's not a down-home conversation, you absolute twit. Now, granted, we're not going to learn any more from this, by the way, and I know I'm jumping around because I have limited time tonight, as you understand. It's Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. Obviously, during the convention and all that kind of stuff next week, we will be doing much more regular schedule and the like. I will be doing a Friday morning show and a show tomorrow night. Once I get to Chicago, it will be later because of when my flight is. But I will be doing a late show tomorrow night. Probably just, I don't know, go all night. Let's do it. I don't know. Anyways, and then Friday morning, I'm going to go to Rob Glenn's studio, and I'll be doing the show from there. And then, of course, I will try, if I can fit in an afternoon show, I will. Radio show will obviously be at studio, and then Sexy Liberal, off we go. And then next week, normal-ish. But one of the things I wanted to, that there was sort of a news jump in, was this story that came out that German authorities have put out a warrant for a Ukrainian diver who they believe may be responsible for blowing up Nord Stream 2. Okay? This is after the Chinese yesterday said that they accidentally dragged an anchor across one of the pipelines from Estonia, bursting it, and obviously this could be them kind of tacitly admitting that they may have done this too. That doesn't matter, because if we go over here, if I may, jump over to this one, ladies and gentlemen, this is Rusty Trombone's show, and I'll see if I can restart it, if it shows the start.
German media are reporting that prosecutors.
Okay, sorry. So they're playing the it plays right away. It's got another one of these like thumbnails where he's just, and the title of this is "They Did It." Now, granted, you'll recall that when Seymour Hersh was on his bullshit tour about how the U.S. National Guard sent a team of divers over to blow up the Nord Stream 2, and he had special information from one of his intelligence dudes, which, by the way, can we just say that anybody with a constant intelligence feed as a reporter that's giving him this kind of like once in a lifetime, only you intel might be full of shit, right? Would that occur to anybody? That maybe, just maybe, either that guy is using him because he's a useful idiot, or he's making it up, or the person he's talking to has a particular agenda and only calls him up when he wants to do some damage to, say, Democrats in office, because it certainly times out that way throughout all of Seymour Hersh's career. Anyways, so they did it, right? Here we go. So
here have issued an arrest warrant for Elon.
So here's his start of it.
Its greatest ever front. Why I say the Nord Stream pipeline story was so exciting is because when that story broke, we saw that wave of information. The Nord Stream pipeline, it was blown up by Putin. Putin did it himself. And then quite quickly, due to social media, we talk a lot about its eels and ales, but one of its benefits is new nodes and networks of communication can emerge to convey truth. But the Nord Stream pipeline story showed
There's also a shit ton of edits in this.
That the first wave of propaganda could easily be thwarted and opposed by an informed public. What do you imagine the establishment fears most? Misinformation that leads to unrest in the streets, or information that challenges the authority that they need to control us?
Well, here's the thing. Obviously, this is a ploy to get his gullible viewers to comment below his videos, because that's one of the ways you game the algorithm and earn space you don't deserve. So both of those are again terminal hypothesis. They're stupid. There's no way of knowing, and it's really a way of testing the bias of your audience. But the primary idea that, do you think the establishment hates misinformation that will cause unrest in the streets? Well, if the establishment actually believes in the government that they're a part of, as duly elected representatives, yeah, I think that'd be concerning. If a lie made a bunch of people, if a lie set off a bunch of Timothy McVeighs and mixed with George Floyd protests, yeah, I think that'd be worrisome. Or the other side, that they'll lose control if the truth gets out. Well, in this particular case, this asshole has sold 3 different versions of this story so far, and this is the 4th.
In the chat, let's have
the 4th
look at this story about the German police seeking the Ukrainian diver that presumably was involved in the explosion of the Nord Stream pipeline. Remember, at the time, we had Jocko Willink, former Navy SEAL, on the show, and we asked, would you be able to do that? Would it be possible for a special forces team to undertake the sabotage of a pipeline?
Yeah.
And he'd say, yeah, that'd be no problem. Blowing up a pipeline.
Yes. Can you do it versus did you do it? Jesus. It's so lazy. And we watched that when it happened. I remember us covering some of the footage he was doing. Again, you'll notice he's having Jocko Willink on there because Jocko's saying, yeah, a team could do something like that. Because of course they could. They'd need permission from the Norwegians or the Russians to get past them. They'd have to be able to take out the cameras that show the area. That also is kind of crucial to the idea, right? They'd have to make that happen. But if they did it, they could absolutely blow it up. It's not like it's a heavily guarded thing. It's just heavily watched. And if you could limit who's watching at the time, you could blow it up and skulk away in the darkness. Absolutely. The question isn't could they do it? It's the assertion that they did. That he was, in that same interview, he was asserting that the U.S. government had done it, and that Seymour Hersh said that dudes from the National Guard were sent over. At this point, if it wasn't for this piece of news, they'd probably start saying that Tim Walz did it himself.
I'd do that before breakfast, he said, and I don't think it was a euphemism. Let's have a look at this story.
German media are reporting that prosecutors here have issued an arrest warrant for a suspect behind the 2022 explosions on the Nord Stream gas pipeline. It is believed that the Ukrainian man was one of the divers who allegedly planted explosive devices. 2 underwater explosions were registered on the Nord Stream pipelines off the Danish.
We know all this, but they do a whole look at this. Look how much
and used it to prepare this attack. And since then, there's not really been much news.
Russell is playing how much of this? Yeah, he plays this. I think this is the most standout part of this whole clip. Not only is Russell just pretending that he wasn't all in on the U.S. did it, and Seymour Hersh was like, yeah, I know the names of the guys that did it. I know everybody who was in charge. That he was selling this hardcore, that this was like Joe Biden himself calling for the destruction of pipeline, the greatest act of terrorism against civilian infrastructure in our time. It was going to push us to World War III. Remember all that bullshit? I mean, it was the hard sell nonstop. And you'll notice he's not going anywhere near it. He's not bringing clips back of Seymour Hersh. Remember when Seymour Hersh told us he knew who did it? Turns out it wasn't them at all. No, he's playing almost an entire clip of this of DW and this German news agency, right? Almost the entire thing, while telling us that the mainstream news cannot be trusted. And the establishment, meaning not just in the United States, but obviously the Pentaverate, whoever runs the EU, the UN, all that stuff, who obviously control this as well, are selling us another line of bullshit. But this part's believable. Right.
We may be a bit closer to finding out who it is if these reports...
What I'm trying to say is I would file this under, sure, the Earth is flat, but why is the moon round, asshole? See what I mean? There's this... Right.
Are indeed correct.
Even tonally, this news report is somewhat anomalous, isn't it, for those of us that have become accustomed to an unceasing deluge of fast and fatuous information. Just to pause and stop for a moment and be reminded that the Nord Stream pipeline was likely blown up by deep state operatives.
What? deep state operatives. Well, you think bureaucrats in the U.S. government did this? They said this is this. I mean, how dumb? This dumb. Look at this. Look at this asshole's face. Look at him. Look at his big ass. This is Stay Free with Russell Brand. Yes, the only podcast named after an old tampon ad from 1990. And good Lord, again, it wouldn't be a big deal if he hadn't sold us 3 different storylines about how the United States was behind it. But now that the Germans have put out a warrant for the arrest of a Ukrainian diver who may or may not have been involved in it, that means deep state operatives. Just the fact that deep state operative came out of his face just means my only thought is he has to have like a checklist from whoever his paid handlers are. Like the people that, like, you know what I mean, that pay for his show from Russia or wherever the fuck. That it's the only thing that makes it. You gotta, they used to have this thing. I don't know if you know this, but on CSI Miami, it was shot in Huntington Beach, California. That's true. And the big building that they used for their main office is an old like high school that was really modern looking, but then it didn't work very well, so they moved the site, and so they had this really nice building, and so they used this. That was the outside of the CSI building or whatever. But for international sales of CSI Miami, it had to have 2 shots of Miami an episode, exterior shots that sold the show as being in Miami, and the cast had to fly down once a month to do these kind of like walking in Miami zoom out shots, and then they would shoot the rest of the episode, and they would insert these shots in so that people watching in India or whatever were like, wow, Miami's awesome. You're like, no, actually Huntington Beach is lovely this time of year. But they had to guarantee 2 Miami shots per, that had to be live. They had to be real. They couldn't be CG. They couldn't be just randomly cut together. They couldn't be driving shots. You had to show the actors there. So it really had to tie the story in, right? Or they wouldn't, or they would break their syndication agreement. They had to deliver these things, right? That's what it seems like with this. It's like he's got to say deep state operative and, establishment or something, 16 times an hour, or he won't get paid. Oh, God. What the hell?
This person, although I would never miss the opportunity to say innocent until proven guilty, is a reminder of the power of new media, that they can convey their propaganda, but it will be countenanced. Most of us no longer believe them. Most of us no longer trust them. The next American presidential election will be a showdown between new media and old media.
What? You just showed an uninterrupted, like, 3-minute clip or 2-minute clip on your show to shore up your version of a story. You fabricate this idea that a Ukrainian diver is part of the deep state. What the hell? All right, somebody's got to ask this asshole what the phrase deep state even means. Good Lord. All right, I'm ejecting. We're pulling out of this because I don't have, like, some holes are just too deep to go down when you're on vacation. It's not possible. But I would like to say, I guess the blessing of that clip, if I may, because it goes back to one of our old chestnuts that we've dealt with a bunch of times, is that's how much he's dying. As much as he was saying, this new media is really doing so well that people don't believe the regular media anymore. They believe us. No, they don't. Asshole. Like, what an ironic twist that's his takeaway from that clip of Der Welt or whatever the German news agency saying that that they believe us, they don't believe you, after he sold 3 different versions of this story, and all of them have turned out to be wrong. And he's like, we don't even believe these things anymore, because if we did, we'd realize that I've been talking out of my asshole for years. Which is indeed, by the way, the case. Period. End of story. That's exactly what's going on. Now, speaking of talking out of your ass, trying to get this in over the wire. Ladies and gentlemen, this fella, seldom do we encounter a man who can blather and dissemble the way Glenn Beck can. He's been relegated to his little cabin in the woods set with his little parallax camera move. I like it. I don't get it, but I like it. Sure, keep some movement, because listening to him, I guess, talk while sitting still is boring as shit. So cover your ass, whatever you can. But Glenn, listen to this. Glenn loses it after CNN's blatant lie about Trump and nuclear war. Well, my goodness. Seriousness, let's see.
Here is what I heard on CNN yesterday.
Here's what I heard on The Blaze today. Glenn Beck is sick again. All right, dude. Look. Either you've got to get rid of your pets, or stop wearing wool, or just stop, I guess, shotgunning Sonic milkshakes.
To listen to this, cut 1.
I want to play one exchange that was kind of classic. Well, there were a lot of exchanges that were classic Donald Trump, but this one really stuck out to us.
And Nagasaki were bombed, but now they're like full cities again. So
Right,
it's
right,
really
right.
not
That's
something that, you know.
That's right.
So it's not as scary as people think, basically.
So that was more Elon Musk than Donald Trump, talking about, sort of suggesting that what happened almost 80 years ago, I think 80 years ago next year, the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, now it's okay. Kind of trying to blow off the impact of that.
Okay.
Uh-oh. Glenn is very upset. He's emotional, guys. I'm trying to hold it together.
Some of us are responsible.
Some of us manage our diet and our exercise very well. Others have to be sequestered in a small cabin so they don't make everyone else sick.
Some of us listen to the entire 2 hours of Donald
Yeah, that's not responsible. That's insane.
Trump and Elon Musk because it was an important conversation.
Okay, I gotta say this because it's grossing me out, and because he just rubbed his face, his nose is necrotic. I don't know if it's gonna fall off. Like, he's just gonna have to get a Michael Jackson / Dan Aykroyd in Nothing But Trouble prosthetic replacement, but it's purple and it's staying that color, and it's grossing me out.
And some of us realized that Donald Trump is truly terrified of nuclear war.
Well, for the record, he doesn't understand nuclear power or the concept of a nuclear explosion, how it works, what's required to make it happen. He doesn't understand any of it, and he's terrified of anything he doesn't understand. That's why he gets so angry, because all anger is based on loss, and he believes that lost face is the worst thing that can happen to you. That's why he thinks Afghanistan was embarrassing and not shameful, because he can't feel shame. He can only feel embarrassment.
Understands that it's the end of the world if we have nuclear war. And
well, we have a full-scale nuclear war, yeah. Also, and the point is that in that little exchange, Elon Musk is of the opinion that if anybody survives it, in about 80 years, things will be kind of back to normal. I mean, you can eat the food and hang out, anywhere there was a nuclear blast, radiation schmadiation was his entire point.
Warned maybe 7 times we cannot get into a nuclear war. When Elon Musk said, well, the economy, he said, yes, the economy, but the number one killer of the entire system of the world will be nuclear war. And
Sure. Okay. If I may, also true of giant asteroid, and the chances of an asteroid eventually striking the Earth are like 1 to 1. And if humanity spent all of their time that we have at, our intellect, our inventiveness, everything, just preparing for that day, it would make the existence of humanity worthwhile to every other animal that's ever lived on Earth, because none of them could do it. And that's a real serious problem. Now, does that mean you blow off issues with the economy or affordable housing or healthcare because you're like, holy shit, an asteroid might hit us? No. But if you're saying, yeah, the economy, blah, 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 we're going to get nuked. This is a nuclear war on the, we're staring down the barrel of the end times. Well, then it's what Jesus wants. Why are you throwing yourself in between God and his plan?
We cannot go into World War III. So he said that 7 times at least.
Yeah, but that's because he's repetitive and he's a lunatic.
Over and over and over again.
Right, that's because also Russia has given him instructions to scare everybody that if we try to stop them from destroying Ukraine, they'll nuke everybody. That's, again, I've said this before, but to Russia, mutual assured destruction, MAD, is actually an umbrella under which they can attack anybody they want, because if we try to stop them, they can always threaten that they're going to get into a nuclear war. That's what they always do. And that's the water pail that Trump is carrying for Vladimir Putin.
I think it was his main point.
Which is fucking ridiculous.
And so, wait, classic Donald Trump saying it was no big deal? Wait a minute. His main point was that nuclear war is on the horizon and it cannot be an option.
Yeah, nobody's arguing that nuclear war should be an option, you fucking lunatic. No one. And nobody's arguing that it's not something we should fear. What they were pointing out was that in the discussion about nuclear war, which Donald Trump seems nearly as fixated on as he is being electrocuted or eaten by a shark. I mean, we're halfway between, like, if you could be nuked or eaten by a shark, I'll take nuked every time. Wait for that turn in his conversation. That in the process of having that conversation, he and Musk came to the conclusion that, Nagasaki and Hiroshima are doing just fine. Even at one point in that interview, Elon Musk says something about, like, you can eat the food at Fukushima now. It's not a big deal. It's all safe.
So here's what he actually said, if you want to put context with it.
Yes. By the way, just for the record, having watched more rallies than Glenn Beck has of Donald Trump all the way through, and fact-checked and joked through the whole thing more than anybody, I think, literally anyone online. I have done more of those. Context is not Donald Trump's friend. Ever. There's never a time where, like, oh, okay, I see what he was saying.
I'm showing you, just because you need to tell your friends.
I do. And you have to tell your friends. I have to tell my friends. You have to tell your friends. Everybody in the chat, you have to tell your friends, because Glenn doesn't have any friends. And so he can't tell his friends because they don't exist.
Liars don't like liars.
Oh, is that why J.D. Vance and Trump are fighting? Cool.
Okay? Nobody likes a liar. Even liars don't like liars.
How do you know? What if they told you they did? Would you believe them? I don't like him. Why? He's a liar. But you're a liar. And? Well, how do I know you don't like him? Maybe you do.
So you got to start talking to your friends and saying, look, here's the evidence.
No lie.
You have been lied to. You are being manipulated.
Terrible. And I mean, obviously, I don't have any friends that watch The Blaze, but if I did, they'd all go, yeah, that's why I watch.
This is Goebbels style propaganda.
It's Goebbels style. Like this is dead serious. Okay, so whatever Trump said was the exact opposite of what actually occurred there. When he was saying "great, exactly" or "great, that's great," to Elon Musk saying that Hiroshima and Nagasaki are perfectly good towns now, and you don't have to worry about radiation at all, and there was no damage, and blah blah, all that. Great. Okay, he actually said that's terrible. What are you talking about? You're an insane person. This has obviously been edited. Now Glenn looks happy here, but I don't feel like he is.
Everywhere. It's just not directed. Well, I don't think. They all seem to use the same phrases immediately at the same time. So maybe.
Oh, you mean like stolen valor? Like how all the right wing just decided to keep saying stolen valor, even though it does not apply at all to Tim Walz at all? Just, you know, in the argument that he didn't earn the rank that he had, or whether he was one step down from that rank, or where he gotten that rank in time, or all that stuff, that he stole valor. He didn't steal valor from anybody. Meanwhile, Trump says, people who died on D-Day were suckers and losers.
It is. I don't know, but it's not necessarily coordinated from a central hub, although it may be. And they are lying to, and I will show you some of the lies. And it's not just about policy. It's about important things.
Policy is very important. Policy is actually how important things get handled. You have to have a policy, and then you got to pass a bill. And usually, if you have no policy, then, obviously, never mind.
That will impact your life and possibly the life of our planet.
Oh, you mean like climate change legislation? Yeah, I agree. I mean, we should all do everything we possibly can to, improve the impact that we have on the climate, especially, and become as carbon neutral as we possibly can. Methane's obviously a big problem. Oh, that's not what you're talking about. I see. You're just talking about like flash nuclear war and some sort of fantastical sci-fi nightmare you think we all live in.
So what did he actually say? Cut 2.
There's the bad side of nuclear, which is a nuclear war, very bad side. But there's also, I think, nuclear electricity generation is underrated.
You're right.
And it's actually, people have this fear of nuclear electricity generation, but it's actually one of the safest forms of electricity generation. It's just a huge misunderstanding. And if you look at the injuries and deaths, caused by, say, I'm not going to try to pick on coal mining, but just any kind of mining operation.
Right. I don't want to. Yeah, you never want to pick on coal mines. It's a great way to die, actually. There's a certain number of injuries and deaths per year. And you compare that to nuclear. Nuclear is actually way better. So it's underrated as an electricity source, and I think it's something that's worth reconsidering. But there's so much regulation that people can't get it done. So that,
maybe they'll have to change the name. The name is it's a rough name. There are some areas like.
Yes, you might have to change the name. This is true. I thought about that myself a few times, but I don't know if perhaps if we would call it something else, perhaps.
That's rough
like
name.
When you see what happened in
good bad branding.
Right, we'll have to rebrand it. We'll have to give it a good name. We'll name it after you or something.
Yes, we'll call it Elon instead of protons. We'll call them Elons, and we'll call it Musk Energy instead of nuclear energy. We'll brand it after you. We'll call it, we'll use Musk units. Just so that, because I can obviously say nuclear without many problems, but if you say Musk Energy units.
No, it has a branding problem. When you see what happened.
It does have a branding problem.
When you see what happened in Japan, where they say.
Yeah, when you see what happened in Japan, why does he sound like a low-level hitman in a Godfather / Goodfellas screen test?
Be able to go on the land for about 3,000 years.
Oh, you think nuclear energy's fucking funny? You think it's funny to you? I'm funny to you? How am I funny? Huh? You stupid son of a bitch.
Ever see that? And in Russia, where they had the problem, where they, there's a lot of bad things happened, and they have a problem. And they say that in 2,000 years, people will start to occupy the land again. you realize it's pretty bad.
No,
but,
that's not true.
But you're right about it. It's amazing.
It's actually not that bad. So like after Fukushima happened,
Yeah. Okay. So this is Trump's understanding that in only 2,000 years you can go back to Chernobyl is the idea, and Elon Musk is saying no, it's not even that bad. It's been just a couple of years since Fukushima, and it's fine now.
Like people were asking me in California, are we worried about like a nuclear cloud coming from Japan? I'm like, no, that's crazy. It's not even dangerous in Fukushima. I actually flew there and ate locally grown vegetables on TV to prove it. And
also, there's a huge difference between like acute radiation poisoning and cancer. Like exposure to radiation that causes cancer. Like he does realize that we understand that there's a level of radiation that will like cook you right there on the spot, where like boils break out in your skin and you start to decay like a Nazi at the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark. And then there's enough where you don't notice and it kills you. That's actually, for a lot of people, way more concerning, because you can live under the illusion that you're fine for quite some time and then everybody dies. Like, does that not register with him? Like, hey, idiot, the eating the vegetables isn't going to poison you right then. You're not going to eat them and die on the spot. The idea is that you're eating irradiated food, and eventually, like, as you stack the level of exposure, your chances of getting cancer go up exponentially. There's like this huge fucking arc.
Donated a solar water treatment, a solar powered system for a water treatment plant. And
yeah, but you haven't been feeling so well lately, and I'm worried about it.
No, but I mean,
I'm only kidding.
It's fine, It's.
I'm only kidding. You haven't been feeling well lately. Like he's just, I don't know he sounds like Jerry Lewis to me. I was just saying, Dean, boy.
It's like Hiroshima and Nagasaki were bombed, but now they're like full cities again. So
right.
it's really not something that
That's right.
So it's not as scary as people think, basically. But.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, I love that Glenn thinks this is a huge dunk on Dana Bash, and that I caught you guys. No, that's exactly what he said. When she brought that part up, she didn't have to play the rest of it. We got it. It's just as stupid. That's ridiculous. Also, the bombs at Hiroshima and Nagasaki are like, 1/50th of some of the bombs that exist right now. Oh, God. But this is now. Let's all have a moment, folks, because Glenn has had it, okay, with you and your bullshit. All right, you can't attack Donald Trump and Elon Musk. You're not smart enough to attack these two giants. Who are you?
So was he trying to excuse and say what happened 80 years ago was not so bad? Is that what Donald Trump was talking about? Is that what Elon Musk was talking about?
You'll notice that in the clip that he played earlier, Dana Bash specifically said the impact, because she and what happened in the context of the rest of the conversation that they had, clearly there was they were discussing the radiation and the fallout and the cancer and the birth defects and all the stuff that happened afterward. That's what they were discussing, right? That's what they were talking about. And this douchebag wants to decontextualize the first clip. It's just so lame.
No. Not at all. Not at all.
Actually, specifically, he was downplaying the impact precisely. I would say at all. Yes, at all. Yeah. Yeah, he was specifically saying that the radiation fallout and the damage done is no big deal, and those cities are fine now, and you can eat vegetables at Fukushima Daiichi. And like, Trump may have been talking about the absolute utter destruction of the world if we got into a full-scale nuclear war, which is like, okay, sure, we all have that conversation. That is well within the layman's level of knowledge about a full-scale nuclear war between two nuclear powers that just lay waste to the entire planet. Fine. That's not the discussion, though. The discussion that they were having was in defense of nuclear-powered electrical plants, that he was worried that somehow they've gotten a bad rap because of nuclear war, and his way of trying to rehab their image was saying, actually, what happened to Hiroshima and Nagasaki is not so much a big deal. Jesus Christ.
I'm telling you, I think the media is going to do Donald Trump a favor. Did you?
Are they? They're really going to do him a favor? Probably playing clips of that. We'll just keep doing it, you think?
Here, play cut 3. This is Stephen Colbert. Listen to this. This is how out of touch they are.
It's kind of been this moment.
I can't play that. By the way, this is when Caitlin Collins was on there, and they made a joke about CNN, fact-checking stuff, or like, apparently it is a laugh line or whatever, but I can't play it because
they're not fair and objective.
You think the Blaze and those guys go after you. Like, there is no contextual additive commentary I can do to a clip from the Late Late Show.
The
Late Show.
I just played it for you. So they're a laugh line now. People understand what is happening right now. Now, we're going to talk about the poll numbers with Trafalgar here in a few minutes.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to see that it's having an impact. But you can only do this for so long. What is their long-term plan?
Oh, I see. So the idea is that I'm just gauging this based on what we know of Glenn and stuff, is that their big concern, and this is why he's angry. This makes total sense now. All right, they're responding to the fact that not only has Harris overtaken Trump in all of the swing states, she is within the margin of error in Florida. And the Senate candidate in Florida is a full 10 points ahead of the Democrat is 10 points ahead of the Republican in a bunch of polling, and it's making them really nervous that vote combined with hers will just bring out Democrats all over the place, and Republicans won't show up, and it's a nightmare. That's what he's pissed about. I mean, look at his face. This is good. This is good stuff.
When they make her into this, sweet little girl who just wants to do the right thing, and she's got a teddy bear of a vice president, and they're just going to give America.
See? Yeah. They're not handling it well.
How are they going to explain the effects of their socialist programs?
This socialist programs? What do you mean, like Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, public schools? Those aren't that. None of that's socialist. Wait, what do you mean? The FBI, the IRS, any government programs at all? Everything's socialist. Anything taxpayers pay for, it's suddenly socialist, and it's not just the act of democratic taxation where people have a say in how their taxes are spent. That's why we have a representative government.
Do it. The jig is up. It's over. It's over.
Yeah. Sorry, Harris. You may be like having huge rallies, and there's tons of money coming in, and your popularity's through the roof. And J.D. Vance is talking to parking lots full of assholes in Michigan, and Tim Walz is having entire little mini stadiums filled. But you might think things are going your way. They're not. It's over. Okay, you might as well pack it in. I would quit. If I were you.
And it hasn't caught up yet.
Right. All right. You may be so busy winning that you don't even realize you're losing. You know what I mean? Now, that seems like a great title for a biography of Donald Trump, but it's not, okay? This is the Harris trajectory.
People, because they are so blatant now, that people are going to turn on them. It's going to happen exactly the way it happened with the taking Trump to court all the time. Which, by the way, did you see that the UAW is taking Donald Trump and Elon Musk to court?
Yeah, for unfair trade practices, like violation of workers' rights, just firing people just to fire them. Yeah, that's what they do. It's kind of, I mean, it's, fucking workers, right, Glenn? I mean, they're a pain in the ass. Like, you shouldn't have to listen to them. They should take their check and go home. Thank you. They're lucky stars that geniuses like you start a business in the first place. Why should they be able to count on it? You know what I mean? Like, who are they? They're just doing the job. Oy, God.
Yeah, it's really weird. They just will not learn a lesson. Apparently.
Well, then I don't know what you're worried about. You seem very angry that you're winning so easily.
United Auto Workers, who Donald Trump is probably the biggest friend to the auto workers.
What are you talking about? He was against the auto bailout. Which, by the way, also included money that effectively turned Tesla into a real company. He was against it. He was against saving the big three. He thought they should all be allowed to fail after 2008, even though none of that was their fault.
Because he's going to stop all of this electric car bull crap that...
Oh, right. That's because American auto workers are too stupid to make electric cars because they're grease monkeys. They don't know how to do that stuff. Holy shit. By the way, can I just, for a couple points, our rental car here is electric, and it's a cute little Chevy something or other. What's it's what?
Bolt.
Yeah, it's a Chevy Bolt. It's that little guy right there. And it's got a range of like 250 miles. We've only had to charge it once. We didn't really even have to. We're just going to go on a longer drive tomorrow, so we thought we would. And it cost us $4 to add 100 miles to its charge. It's adorable, this car. And even then, it's not like, even the top of like 200, and it's a cheaper car, I'm sure. But as rentals go, it's like, 300 downhill. Yeah, it's 250 mile range, and we're not even at the beginning of the EV revolution. But it was they offered it to us as a rental, and we said yes. It was cool, and it's been a dream. It's great. So just saying, about 4 cents per mile. Yeah. It literally, there was a charging station at Epcot, and we hooked up. Was it Epcot or Hollywood Studios? Yeah, they have them. They have 4 of them at each of the parks, and they're all full most of the time. But they had one free at this one, so we plugged it in, and it was about $4. We were at 160 miles or something, like range left, and it charged up to 250.
Nobody wants to buy.
Well, no, they're the new tech, so they're more expensive, and there's a lot of aspects to them. They're higher priced vehicles because they're premium, and then as they expand and as there are more charging stations, then people will want to buy them. This is the same thing that was true of unleaded gasoline, which, by the way, taking the lead out of gasoline is also something Glenn was against and still is. Just letting you know.
So Ford can't make trucks because they have all kinds of quotas they have to hit with cars that nobody wants to buy. You think you're going to keep your...
No, it's that the electric F-150 costs $60,000 more than the baseline gas one, even with the subsidies. That's why.
Bob, you really think that's the future auto workers? No,
of course not. I mean, American auto workers can't make Teslas. They're morons. Are you kidding me? Tell them, Glenn. Teslas can't be made in the United States. Our workers are too weak and stupid. Who has, I don't know if, other than Donald Trump, the only person who says it better is Glenn himself, Stop even trying, you grease monkeys. You're relegated to the past, and you're never going to get better. It's just this is where it ends for you. You and the Harris campaign. It's over, even though you feel like it's not. Even though you just got a great contract for the first time in a long time. Even though the president stood on the picket line with you, that's just another sign you're losing. Okay.
Smarter than that, you know that. So now the head.
By the way, I've already decided my next car is going to be an electric car. I'm just not going to get rid of my car just to get rid of a car. It still runs, it still works, but my next car is going to be electric, period.
United Auto Workers. And
Prestige says, why are all these crackpots drug addicts? I guess being an asshole must be exhausting. Can you imagine getting up every day and doing, I do this show practically every day. I take Sundays off, for the Lord. But the rest of the time, why does that strike you as so funny? I don't know. That made Summer laugh, and that's all that matters. 6 days a week I'm doing this show, and it's, I enjoy it. Don't get me wrong. I love doing it. I look forward to doing it, mostly because of you guys. Way to go, Sparklers. You guys are a joy to be around. But it's work. I mean, I've got to keep up on the stories. I've got to keep up on, I've got to make sure that I have enough information to have, multiple views of a story if it's coming up, so that I can give you a take that's worth listening to instead of just hearing the same recycled shit that you hear from other people, right? And there's so much to it that, it's still a job. Even though it's fun, it still requires a certain amount of work. Can you imagine? It would be fucking torture to get up every day and do basically the same kind of show Glenn is doing that I'm doing, obviously on the cheap. But know that you have, to be painfully aware that you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I'm dead serious. Honest to God. We've heard him say a couple of times, he even gave us that drop, I'm not an expert on anything. I think it's becoming even more shockingly clear to Glenn Beck that he doesn't know shit. It's beyond I'm not an expert. Thank you, the Prestige. Appreciate it. Right? We're well beyond him. I'm no genius about these things, but I know a thing or two about a thing or two. At this point, he's just fucking stupid, and he knows it. It's got to be awful. I mean, I have no sympathy for the man because he's mean as shit, and he treats his staff like garbage, and he's a dick. And he's the only person he's probably worse to than his staff is his own physical person. Right? But good Lord. Just how do you get up every day and crank out his, because the Blaze is his business, it's his company. So all those shows that are on are, I suppose he's doing some level of producing them or oversight, maybe. At least, creating them in the first place and, working with the people and then setting them on autopilot and hoping they work out and just filling time. But he's on 3 times a day. He does his radio show, and then he's on his little specials that he does. And I mean, there's a lot of content from this dickhead. And now I have never, with all of his fucking chalkboard shit and him, giving these almost TED Talk, 3-hour TED Talks on these conspiracy ideas he had. I have never once seen him say something where I was like, oh, okay, he obviously understands the issue. Ever. I've obviously seen people who are full of shit before. Rusty Trombone is full of shit. Alex Jones is full of shit. But they sell this kind of idea that they're almost because of maybe it's because they're a grandiose character. They kind of get away with it. They kind of show off a little bit. So maybe that's it. Maybe because they got a show off's personality, like yours truly, that they have they can. That's a veneer over. Well, you expect a certain level of bullshit with somebody like that, right? Whereas Glenn is too boring to be this ignorant. Imagine if Tom Hartman was hit in the head with a hammer. You know what I mean? And he was just kind of like, what show are we doing today? I'm Martha, where am I? Like that kind of thing. Like just I don't get it.
Filed federal labor charges against former President Trump and Elon Musk following their interview because during the conversation, who the Washington Examiner points out was delayed due to a technical difficulty, Trump and Musk advocated.
Also, the Washington Examiner is just telling you the truth. It was delayed because of a technical issue, and the Washington Examiner is pro-Trump. They're the ones who, they're the ones who are always blowing smoke up his ass in D.C. That is the MAGA paper of record in Washington.
Legal firing of striking workers, and you can't do that.
Right, that's what unions do. No, you can't. It's an illegal firing of striking workers. Yeah, that was the point.
Unbelievable.
Actually, completely believable. Like, what's unbelievable, I think, is that Trump and Elon Musk were dumb enough to, brag about this shit on the air.
Unbelievable.
Completely believable. That's how you know it's believable. If something is completely reasonably believable, count on Glenn Beck to say, it's unbelievable. You're unbelievable. By the way, you're unbelievable. No, you are. No, you are. Okay, I've got, what's our plan, babe? How do we have a half hour? Oh, did we get in the queue?
Mm-hmm.
What's our number?
200.
200? All right, well, it'll be later.
We should head over at 8:40. You have an hour.
Okay, great. Excellent. Well, I've got a little bit of time. So let's jump into and I'm gonna see something. Maybe this will fix my thing. This is dumb, and I know I'm making a mistake, but I'm gonna take out my headphones. Choppy. Yep, worked. Sometimes I just don't want to chance it. By the way, love you guys. Hi, chat room. Hello. And yes, I am a little bit. I'm not pink. I got a decent color. When you say, babe, I'm not red. It's the tone of the camera, but I'm not burned. I want you to know. We've been very good with the sunscreen.
First day we got red.
We got a little bit red the first day, but not much. You more than I. And you barely. Yeah. Just your chest. But, I mean, obviously, I'm going to be fixated on that. So that's obviously going to... What am I supposed to do? We're in a hotel room. She's in her underwear. She's right over there laying in bed. It's distracting. That's why I do my show in a teeny little office in the house. Because so, I do look a little bit pink, but I am not. I'm actually in pretty good shape. It's a decent color right now. Just say it for the record. Happy birthday, Thumber. Thanks, guys. All right. Right. I'm just a man, flesh and blood. All right. Now, let's jump over since I got a little bit of time. Okay. Honest to God. So I have been looking at doing a JD Vance speech all the way through. But I've watched a couple of them, including the one that just happened in Michigan. And I gotta say, it's so fucking boring. It is so dull. It's almost like that's his job, is to go out there and kind of be the balancing act, seems like super ultra normal politician, even in being full of shit, right? Because it's so dull. And it's all the same talking point, so we're not going to get anything from it. Whereas Trump, on the other hand, is still freeballing it does not care, does not like at all. And here's my prime example, ladies and gentlemen. I give you Donald Trump in Asheville, North Carolina, and I jumped past this because we don't have time to do the whole speech or whatever, but to where he gets to the meat of the speech, and the opening line of this tickles me. I gotta play it for you. Fuck. Wait. Hold on. Did the audio not start? It stopped going through the thing. Hold on. Hold on. Back up. You guys didn't hear. You guys can't hear that audio, can you? I don't see it going out on there. No audio. Okay, yeah. Let me fix that 1 second, if I may. That's what happens when I take my headphones out and then I put them back in to try and make the audio better for me, and then the nightmare sauce. Okay, so that just takes a little bit of this, and a little bit of this, and a little bit of this, and a little bit of that. Use this device for sound output. Hopefully that will do it. See if I can hear this.
California was a great state.
Yeah, and you guys heard that, right? I think you can hear that now, and I think it's got to be a little. I'll bring it up a little louder for you.
Now it's unlivable.
Okay, there we go. Yeah. That looked like audio was going through on that one. Yeah, good. Okay. It's always something. All right, here we go. So this is, ladies and gentlemen, I give you, see the no tax on tips thing in the background? Like he's just desperately trying to no tax on Social Security, no tax on tips. There you go. He's just basically undoing the Reagan legacy. I mean, if he could go back and slow down the response to AIDS even more, I guess he would.
Well, she breaks everything just like she broke the border, broke our economy. But soon we are going to fix every single problem Kamala Harris and Joe Biden have created, and we are going to save our country. We are going to save America. We're going to save America.
We're going to save America. It says it right there. It says it right there in the teleprompter, which I don't use anymore because I don't need them. And don't let the fact that I'm staring at it like a madman fool you.
Now, this is a little bit different day because this isn't around. We're talking about a thing called the economy.
A thing called, also, all right, this is a rhetorical trick he uses all the time. And what it's supposed to be is you're supposed to minimize a larger topic by saying, I'd like to talk to you today about a little thing called the economy, or a little thing called global warming, a little thing called our solar system. Do you understand? Like it is a rhetorical trick that you use to kind of cutify an enormous topic to make it palatable for an audience. If you leave off little, thing just sounds fucked up. And so I want to talk to you about a thing called blah. If you don't have, a simple thing called, see what I'm saying? You add a modifier on it, and rhetorically it downplays the seriousness or the enormity of an issue so that you can make it palatable to an audience. That's what it's for. Yeah. A crazy little thing called love, right? Honestly, that's what you're supposed to say. He leaves off little because he doesn't like the word little, and because it's, I guess, hands, mushroom, whatever. But he also just can't allow himself, so he drops it, and then it doesn't make any sense.
They wanted to do a speech on the economy. A lot of people.
They do? They want to do?
Now, this is a little bit different day because this isn't around. We're talking about a thing called the economy. They wanted to do a speech on the economy. A lot of people.
Also, who's they, asshole? It's your campaign.
People are very devastated by what's happened with inflation and all of the other things. So we're doing this.
Oh, by the way, perfect day to do this because inflation just went below 3% for the first time since 2021, since the end of the pandemic.
This is a intellectual speech. You're all intellectuals today. Today we're doing it, and we're doing.
All right, this means he doesn't understand anything that they discussed. You're all intellectuals. Fuck me. This is going to be terrible. It's because he doesn't understand any of the topics that they were discussing earlier. And by the way, a discussion about, think about populist politics at its root. And do you think any populist politician would have a difficulty any difficulty whatsoever discussing the economy to their audience? Like that they would present it even as mildly complicated. Most of the time, they dumb it down and talk about how it's kitchen table issues and it's really, it's so simple, folks, when it isn't.
Doing it right now, and it's...
as soon as it gets up in the teleprompter and somebody explains to me what the fuck I'm talking about.
Very important. They say it's the most important subject. I think crime is right there. I think the border is right there, personally. We have
So he didn't want to do this. They're making him do it.
A lot of important subjects.
Yeah, a lot of important. I don't even know why we're doing this. You know what? Fuck it. Who needs it? He needs to just push over the teleprompters.
Because our country has become a third world nation. We literally are a third world nation.
We literally aren't. And the word literally does have meaning and is useful. If it was literally a third world nation, you wouldn't be alive. You'd be under a jail cell someplace, or at the very least, you would have a mustache. Everyone will change their underwear every hour on the hour, and they will wear them outside of their pants so we can check. I really think the power is going to his head.
A banana republic in so many ways, and we're not...
Uh-huh. Yeah, all of our suits work great right off the rack.
Going to let that happen because...
What do you mean you're not going to let that happen? It's happening. Isn't it happening? That's what you just said. Listen to this again.
Now, and it's a thing. So we're doing this as a intellectual speech. You're all intellectuals today. Today we're doing it, and we're doing it right now, and it's very important. They say it's the most important subject. I think crime is right there. I think the border is right there, personally. We have a lot of important subjects because our country has become a third world nation. We literally...
It has become, not it will become, it's turning into. It has become a third world nation.
Are a third world nation. We're a banana republic in so many ways. And
we are a banana republic in so many ways.
We're not going to let that happen.
But we're not going to let that happen because I, Donald Trump, have invented a time machine. And with a simple twist of this button and a turn of this screw, and if I set it to the flux capacitor back to when before 2020, I will salvage the election, which shouldn't have gone that way, and I was cheated. And right. We can't allow what's happening to start happening.
Because we're starting a free fall.
We're starting a free fall. All right. So I'm glad. All right. So at least we're not in. How do you start a free fall? Do you ease into it? How do you just? We're this close to free fall. Well, I probably should back up. No. Stay right where you are. It's a free fall in both directions. You can't do anything about it.
But from today. And from the day I take the oath of office...
Either one. It says day there. I just saw the day and then I got confused because it says day in the teleprompter. But it said from the day... I thought it said today and it says for the day, but I saw today, so I just said both.
In so many ways, and we're not going to let that happen because we're starting a free fall. But... from today and from the day I take the oath of office.
Right. Now and forever. Both. Look, now and at some point in the future that may or may not happen. Okay, please continue.
We will rapidly drive prices down and make America affordable again. We're going to make...
Ma. 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 Make America affordable. Ma. Ma. Ma.
Get affordable again.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Slow down. I don't understand all this technical mumbo jumbo, okay? A lot of us didn't go to Horton. Ma. I think it's actually pronounced that way. It's pronounced ma.
Kamala Harris and crooked Joe Biden, the American dream is dead. You don't hear about the American dream anymore. It's dead.
Yeah, no, forget it.
Radical liberal policies have caused horrific inflation, decimated the middle class, and gutted the finances of millions and millions of American families. Real incomes are down by...
Yes, Biden and his whole stupid recovering from the pandemic bullshit.
Over $2,000 a year per family. I mean, that's a lot of money. They're down by that, and it's actually much more if you figure it a certain...
He doesn't think it's a big number at all. I gotta tell you, like that's the issue. He doesn't think $2,000 is a big number at all. And even still, he's like $2,000. Jesus Christ, anybody can absorb that in a year. I mean, it's Christ. The average family, you're talking about $165,000, $200,000 a year. Family, households, the whole household's down $2,000. Jesus Christ, does that just mean the kid didn't have a summer job this year? What the fuck's wrong with you people? Honestly, that's what he thinks. Oops, sorry, I'll click over.
Way if you add some other categories in, it's much more than that.
Yeah, it is. 2,000 doesn't sound nearly bad enough. Like 2,000, fuck these people. Like that's how he thinks.
But down by 2,000 since she took office, and it was just announced that real earnings were down once again at a record rate. The Harris price hikes have cost the typical house.
The Harris price hikes. Simmer down. She's been the vice president, dum-dum. Again, she personally flew down to every chicken ranch in the entire country and blew avian flu into their beaks. Just hot boxed them with just taking pulls off of a vial from one of the CDC labs, just full on loaded, and just killing them.
Sold 20.
She's personally responsible for egg prices.
$28,000. Congratulations. Hope everyone's happy.
They kind of are. That's your problem.
Credit card debt has exploded, and it's exploded to the highest it's ever been, and the cost of a typical monthly mortgage has tripled, and probably more than that if you think of
it. No number is good enough. No number is good enough. Everything's got it tripled. Tripled sounds weak. What's 10 times? 10, just say 10 times. But it's not true. Who gives a shit? By the time they figure it out, I'll be long gone.
About it. We were at about 2.4%, and now you're up to 10% and even 11%, but you're really not there because you can't get the money even if you want to pay it.
Well, then nobody's paying that amount, right? Right? I don't give a shit if the interest rate's 30% if I'm not taking the loan out. Who cares? If it's not a competitive price, I'm not going to borrow money. Isn't that kind of the point? When people can borrow too much money into existence, when the interest rate is too low for too long, there's more money in circulation. Isn't that what Elon Musk told you was the cause of inflation? Stupid.
In July alone, 350,000 people were added to the unemployment rolls. Kamala Harris wants to talk about her fantasies, and they are everything she says. If I say something, she said that's what she's going to do too. I say, what are you doing? But she wants.
Yeah, I agree. I say, what are you doing?
Wants to talk about her fantasies, and they are everything she says. If I say something, she said that's what she's going to do too. I say, what are you doing?
I said, what are you doing? I say, what are you doing? What are you doing it?
But she wants to talk for the future about these fantasies, but
What fantasy? What are you talking about? What is the fantasies line?
In July alone, 350,000 people were added.
Hold on. Does anybody know what the hell did he screw up the word futures with the word fantasy and just read it out loud, and now he's got to justify saying it? Or is there some weird rando quote he's taking out of context?
To the unemployment rolls. Kamala Harris wants to talk about her fantasies, and they are everything she says. If I say something, she said that's what she's going to do too. I say, what are you doing?
I say, what are you doing?
But she wants to talk for the future about these fantasies, but really what she needs to explain is the present suffering that she's caused along with...
Okay, future, present suffering. So the fantasies, he was reading the word future, and he just made up the word fantasy. I don't know why. And he just inserted it into the sentence, and now she wants to talk about the future, but the present is... That's what it says in the teleprompter. I'm just telling you right now. Oh, shit.
Joe Biden. And by the way, they're a team. You know, she's trying to throw him overboard. She doesn't want to know who he is anymore. She doesn't want to talk about him anymore. She says, let's not bring this guy in. Let's not bring him in. No.
Bring him in. He's busy being president, stupid.
They were a team.
They still are a team. She's still the vice president, stupid.
Appointed her as border czar, and
No, she wasn't border czar.
She did the worst job in the history of borders, I will tell you. Does anyone here feel richer under Kamala Harris than Crooked Joe than you were during the Trump administration?
Well, I mean, it's certainly easier to go out and do shit.
Anything less expensive under Kamala Harris and Crooked Joe?
Well, that's like saying, is anything less expensive under Trump than it was under Obama? If you got 2% inflation, no matter who's next, it's always going to be more expensive under them. Without COVID and supply shock and all the other stuff. It was just dumb.
I mean, we had inflation that I don't believe we've ever had inflation like that. You can go back a long way.
Right, but you'd have to find another pandemic that shut down the whole world when we were globally tied to a supply chain like we were, which has never happened.
Are you better off now with Harris and Biden than you were with a person named President Donald J. Trump? Do you know him? He's a nice gentleman. Nice gentleman.
He's a nice German. Did you say nice German? Did you accidentally say nice German?
4 more years of Harris, your finances will never recover. They're never going to recover.
Yeah, they're never going to recover. You're dead. You can't do anything. You're weak and stupid. America, just pack it in. I know. I don't know how you made it this long before this man showed up, but now that he's here, anybody else gets in charge of this country but him. You're screwed. I know this sounds vaguely Jim Jones and Manson-like, but you take it with a grain of salt.
Our country will never recover, frankly, more.
Yeah, definitely. Well, no good, not too good.
More importantly, it will be unrecoverable.
Sort of a word, not really. Unrecoverable. How is it, sir? I'm sorry. I'm sad to inform you he was unrecoverable.
Vote Trump and your incomes will soar, your savings.
Easy. Again, don't get too technical too fast.
Will grow, young people will be able to afford a home, and we will bring back the American dream bigger, better, and stronger than ever before.
Yeah, it's an intellectual approach. That's why he was saying, that. And thanks to him for, I appreciate him tipping us all off that, sort of get your thinking caps on.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It's like he's exhausted by his own bullshit. Thank you. I read that whole piece. Thank you. That was a paragraph. Whew. I need to drop the kids off at the pool is what I need.
Thank you very much.
It just rings hollow. I know you're trying to cheer him up, but I just don't think it's working.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please shut up. Please, this is already depressing. Don't think I haven't noticed that there aren't as many people here, and there aren't as many of them yelling by percentage. And I also know that I saw Jason Miller down there starting you guys yelling this, and it wasn't organic. I'm sorry. It just doesn't work like it used to.
Look at this. We have a lot of front row Joes here. Wow.
Oh, wow. Look at this. Well, who would have thought the same assholes every single show?
Oh.
There they are. Yeah, that's them. Well, not getting any younger, are you guys?
Hello, what a great group of patriots they are.
He was about to say I love them, and then he bailed.
I don't know, they've gone to, I think, 219 or 220. And this isn't rally, but this is a different kind of a thing. Today we're going to talk about one subject, and then we'll start going back to the other, because we sort of love that, don't we?
Sort of. He doesn't want to do a speech about the economy. This is, well, again, try to grasp this. They specifically put this together. His campaign said, like, people, listen, we got a phone call. Scott Baio called, and he said, look, we love you, but stay on topic. Do a speech about one topic. Just show everybody you can do it. And then you can go back to your flailing electric boats and shark bullshit all you want. But just show them you can nail it, and that this is just you having fun. Then the rest of the rallies just look like a party, and you're just gathering people together. But when you show up to actually do the policy stuff, boom, you still got it, baby. You still got it. Show up. Do it. Watch, and people go, oh my God, this guy, he knows everything about everything. And then you can go back to do it. Yeah, do it for Scott. Do it for Chachi. All right. I'm not kidding. I'm only half kidding. That's exactly what fucking happened. He's getting notes from Hannity, everybody. Like, just try to do one goddamn thing.
But it's an important, they say it's
the
most important subject.
Yeah, you said that already.
I'm not sure it is, but they say it's the most important.
I'm not sure it is. This is so fucking ridiculous. You better hope it is, asshole. You ran as the guy who was on The Apprentice and wrote Art of the Deal. The whole fucking point was that you're a businessman and you know how this stuff works. You better hope the economy's the most important issue and you're the guy they trust on it because you're a businessman. I'm dead serious. This is, if, like, of all the people to try and change the subject on the economy, this is the only thing this asshole supposedly had going for him. What the fuck? Listen to him. He doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want to do it.
Back to the other, because we sort of love that, don't we?
I hate talking about this shit. I don't know anything.
But it's an important, they say it's the most important subject. I'm not sure it is, but they say...
Yeah, it's just true. People would much rather hear you talk about abortion. What the ever-loving shit? This is such a fucking train wreck.
It's the most important. Inflation is the most important. But
that's part of the economy, dum-dum. That's the point. Inflation is integral to the economy. What do you mean? That's part. Oh God, let's just settle on for a second there. That Donald Trump thinks that talking about the economy and talking about inflation are two separate topics. This is. Oh my God. I wish it was a joke too, Mark. It's not. At all.
It's part of economy.
Wait.
It's an important, no, it's an important, they say it's the most important subject. I'm not sure it is, but they say it's the most important. Inflation is the most important, but that's part of economy.
That's part of economy. What? What? I mean, inflation is part of economy. I mean, what better? I hope someone from the Trump campaign is sitting just off the side of the stage writing all these down, because they will make fantastic T-shirts.
But it's an important, no, it's an important, they say it's the most important subject. I'm not sure it is, but they say it's the most important. Inflation is the most important, but that's part of economy.
Inflation is the most important, but that's part of economy. I mean, Donald Trump and the date. I mean, what do you need? The man is printing bumper stickers. Campaign people, get on it. That should be on a billboard now. I mean, this kind of genius doesn't just happen. Oh my God. I was not expecting this one to be this funny. This is so stupid. Oh God. Inflation is part of economy. Inflation is part of economy. Shit.
Kamala Harris wants to be in charge of the entire U.S. economy, but neither she nor her running mate is the beauty, isn't he?
He's another beauty. By the way, he's another beauty is one of those things like allow the audience to make up their own insults because I don't have any. He used to do that with Republicans he hadn't come up with a nickname for yet. And don't worry, he'll come up with one somewhere around December.
Bill, he wants tampons in boys' bathrooms. I don't think so. Tampons.
Tampons. Just him saying tampons.
But they've never held a private sector job in their entire professional careers. And
what are you talking about? Of course he has. All right. She's been a DA and an AG and then the vice president, of course. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure she did something before that. She had regular jobs. But he was a social studies teacher, for Christ's sake. He was in the National Guard. He waited till he was quite old before he decided to run for office.
It's no wonder they're both socialists. They're actually beyond socialists. I think
they're beyond socialists. They're well, he's a social studies teacher. I mean, that's pretty far.
Skipped over socialists.
They skipped over socialists. Went straight to communist, I'm sure.
That's why I think when people find out, because you don't know who these people are.
You don't know who these people are. You don't know who the vice president is. You don't know who the governor of Minnesota is. Nobody knows anything about these people. We've never even heard their names before.
When people find out who they are, I personally don't think they can do well in the election.
Yeah. As soon as they find out who they are, yeah.
Destroyed this country. What they've done, when you look at San Francisco, what happened and she was the one that started it years ago. She was district attorney. Then she was the attorney general of the state of California. California is a disaster now.
Yeah, it's sixth largest economy in the world. That kind of disaster.
Now, Gavin Newsom hasn't helped very much, but it's a disaster. She was the one. This November, voters are going to give radical liberal Kamala Harris the opportunity to try something new, a real job in the private sector for the first time in her life. It's nice. Kamala.
Well, I don't think he understands what that joke is. That joke is about her being fired and no longer being vice president and therefore having to get a real job or some shit. It's just stupid.
Has declared that tackling inflation will be a day one priority. Just think of it for her, but day one for Kamala was 3.5 years ago. Why hasn't she done it? You know, I keep saying, ah.
I keep saying, Okay, first of all, real quick, they've been working on it the entire time, but they've been doing it in a gradual way so they don't crash the economy. And apparently Trump thinks the way you land an airplane is by pointing the stick straight at the ground and getting there as fast as possible, and with, I guess, no understanding of flight.
Think of it, for her, but day one for Kamala was 3.5 years ago. Why hasn't she done it? You know, I keep saying, she's one of these complainers, you know, like
I keep saying,
critic. I remember growing up, I'd see plays on Broadway and I'd go to different things, and you know,
bullshit.
Always have critics, they criticize, but
yeah, you'd go to plays on Broadway and different things, and there would be critics that criticize.
See, and they were critical.
That's what they did. I think that's what the job description is. The New York Times seeking a movie critic and play critic who can be critical. This is what critics do, is they critic a lot.
One for Kamala was 3.5 years ago. Why hasn't she done it? You know, I keep saying, she's one of these complainers, you know, like a critic.
She's one of these complainers.
I remember growing up, I'd see plays on Broadway and I'd go to different things, and you'd always have critics, they criticize, but I'd see, and they were critical, but they never did it themselves, you know?
Oh my God. She's literally vice president right now, stupid.
She's a critic, that's all she is. She never did anything. Nothing that she ever did worked. When Kamala lays, and she got lucky with this. She was the first one out. She was 22 people, I guess, I hear. I just asked, I said, that many? A lot of people.
Way to pay attention.
She never made it to Iowa, the great state of Iowa. She was the first one out. She had a lack of skill, and people didn't like her, and now she's running for president, and she never got one vote. Think about that.
She was literally part of the winning ticket that trounced you in the last election.
When Kamala lays out her fake economic plan this week, probably will be a copy of my plan, because basically that's what she does. Just remember, she
good luck with that.
Goes to work every morning in the West Wing. Her desk is 10 steps from the Oval Office. She cast the tie-breaking votes that gave us record inflation, and for nearly 4 years, Kamala has...
And I guess cast the tie-breaking votes that took away record inflation as well? That fixed it? Yeah?
Crackled as the American economy has burned.
The what?
From the Oval Office. She cast the tie-breaking votes that gave us record inflation, and for nearly 4 years, Kamala has crackled as the American economy has burned.
Has crackled? Really? Was she? Was she the Tinder? She crackled? Really? I thought more of her as a snap or a pop gal. Cackled, you dumb motherfucker. The line is cackled. Cackling Kamala. That's what you're trying to crackle. Shit. Crackled. I had no idea. I was today old when I found out that Kamala Harris was part of this nutritious breakfast. Crackled. This motherfucker. Crackled. Shut the fuck up. It's his line. It's your joke, you dumbass. That's the part. Like, you don't... Nobody made you say this. Talk about an unforced error. He does this all the time. Like, shit. Wait, where am I? Hold on. I lost my thing. Crackled.
She cast the tie-breaking votes that gave us record inflation, and for nearly 4 years, Kamala has crackled as the American economy has burned. What happened to her laugh? I haven't heard that laugh in about a week.
You mean the crackling that she used to do? Crackled. You said crackled.
That's why they keep her off the stage. That's why she's disappeared. That's the laugh of a crazy person.
If she's disappeared into I don't know what, dozens of rallies.
And I will tell you, if you haven't known, it's a crazy. She's crazy.
Yeah, nobody laughs. Laughing doesn't happen. Have you ever seen somebody laugh? Like, really just let it loose? Like, that's nuts. Nobody does that. Nothing's funny. I mean, what is there to laugh about? An old man saying crackled? That's not funny.
They told her, don't laugh. Don't laugh. No, it's her. No, her laugh is career-threatening. They said don't laugh. She hasn't laughed. She doesn't laugh anymore. It's smart, but someday it's going to come out. That's the laugh of a person with some big problems.
Again, like, this is such... Like, obviously this has a lot to do with his feeling about women and hysteria and that kind of shit. That's what he's talking about. Like, he's... Like, women enjoying themselves without his permission, apparently, is very off-putting. And also, I would like to say... Think of how seldom we see Melania smile that isn't a forced situation, much less ever see her laugh. Have you ever seen her not miserable? Where you couldn't make an argument that she is paid not to be miserable. Like, don't act miserable today. You're getting a bonus.
She says her plan is going...
She says it? I can't get through his... She says... say, and when the word say has an S on it, says, not says.
Hasn't laughed. She doesn't laugh anymore. It's smart, but someday it's going to come out. That's the laugh of a person with some big problems. She says her plan is going to be...
She says. That's how it says. It's in the teleprompter. S-A-Y-S. Reads says to me. That looks like says. Say with an S on it. Says. That's what you say. That's how you says. That's what you says. Fuck me.
And bring down prices. She thinks she's going to bring down prices. Then why? Here's a simple little few words.
Yeah.
Why didn't you do it, Kamala? Why didn't you do it? You've been there 3.5 years.
Because she's vice president, not the president, and they're continuing to do it. It has been coming down. So they have been doing it.
Why aren't you doing it now?
She can continue to do it because they are doing it now.
You can do it right now.
I don't know. Why didn't you pass an infrastructure bill?
I can say that with everything. Why hasn't she secured the border? You know, she was the border czar, right? She was the border czar.
Nope.
It's a big deal. She says now she wasn't the border czar.
Because she wasn't the border czar.
It's okay. She was in charge of the border. Call it whatever you want. But she was in charge, and
She was not in charge of the border. She was she was supposed to go to South American countries particularly and see what we could do to mitigate migration, and it worked.
It was the worst. This was the worst border in history. There's never been a border in the world like...
There's been a lot of borders way worse. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. Like, it's just a little stupid. Like, this is such a weird... You could say this is the worst border issue we've ever had in the United States. This is the largest number of people, blah, blah, blah. There's all sorts of ways you could shape this without pretending that somehow the Afghanistan-Pakistan border isn't a fucking nightmare and hasn't been. Why do you think fucking Osama bin Laden was able to hide in the mountains in the Pakistan-Afghanistan border region? Because it's porous as shit.
This. Why hasn't she brought back the jobs? Why? She talks about jobs. We're going to come up with a new plan. She's been there for 3.5 years with him.
We've literally, like, the number of jobs under this administration is extraordinary.
Man who, frankly, she defrauded the public because she didn't tell you about that man. I exposed him during the debate. Thank you very much. Thank you.
No, you didn't. He was ill.
And now the bombs are starting to drop in the Middle East. You see what's going on there, right? That would have
never
happened. Israel would have never happened. Ukraine would have never happened with Russia.
This is, by the way, this is his economic speech. It's an intellectual speech. I was reminding I just want you guys to remember.
Wouldn't have ever had an embarrassment like that Afghanistan disaster, with most embarrassing day in our...
Well, he's right about one thing. If he was still president, we wouldn't have gotten out of Afghanistan. We would have stayed forever. He said so.
Country's history. Inflation would have never happened. We would have...
If inflation never would have happened, that means the economy would have never recovered.
Never had. It was caused by a very stupid energy policy. Then he went back to my policy because prices were going up so much. But it'll end, if they won this election, on day one, all of that would end, and this country will go through hell.
I thought we were already in hell, and / at the precipice of hell, in the middle of hell, in a third world country, banana republic, that is hell.
And it can never come back. Once it goes, it's pretty far down already.
What?
I'm going to have to work very hard. It's pretty far down. When you let 20 million people come into our country from places unknown and from prison.
Like, what do you mean, the ghost of Anthony Bourdain?
And from mental institutions.
Oh, this motherfucker. By the way, he's blown off the teleprompter entirely. I'm just saying, for the record. I was laughing so hard, my nose was running. He is bored with his economic speech already. You notice that? Like, he's just this is all muscle memory now. Yeah, that's right, Robin. He's just off teleprompter. He doesn't give a shit anymore. Like that, the dream of him giving an economic speech, like somewhere in another room, somebody in his staff is just throwing a fucking speech in the air. Just the papers and letting him drift down.
And terrorists. Kamala Harris won't end the economic crisis. She will only make it worse. And why hasn't she done it? She talks about it. She's doing a plan. She's going to announce it this week, maybe. She's waiting for me to announce it so she can copy it.
He is so butthurt over the taxes on tips thing. So good. Just took the fucking, there's just something glorious about her. Just like, he is so mad. He is so angry about that. I'm surprised he's not. I mean, he's probably, that's why he hates Biden so much, because Biden took his whole infrastructure week thing and then did something with it.
Remember a couple of days ago?
Remember? I remember. You guys remember?
And we will have no tax on tips. I said that was my plan. Not only didn't she, they came up with a plan to go after all these people violently. Then one day she just uttered that sound, but she'll copy a lot of...
She just uttered that sound.
Other things, too. But she'll never do them. She'll say them for the election, but she'll never do them.
Oh, is that the part? That's the part she's really stealing from you? That, she's going to steal all my political tricks, like saying I'm going to do something and never doing it. That was mine.
She can't solve the problem because she is the problem. She really is. People like her.
Yeah, she caused the pandemic and the subsequent supply shock issues with it and the retooling of the entire world economy. Thanks, Kamala. You and Obama.
When I left office, I handed Kamala and crooked Joe Biden a surging economy with no inflation.
No, you didn't. There's no such thing as a surging economy with no inflation. There isn't. That's a crashing economy. You have no inflation, your economy is crashing.
The 30-year...
You don't believe me? Ask China.
Mortgage rate was 2.4%. Gasoline had reached $1.87.
Yeah, which is... I would think when people aren't able to drive anywhere, it would be lower than that.
A gallon, and for periods of time was even lower than that. The African...
When oil was negative $36 a barrel?
American poverty rate was down 7%. The Hispanic American poverty rate was down 8%. The biggest drops, the greatest drops that you've ever seen in this country.
No, they've actually, not only have they lowered since then, they've narrowed between the average, which is the whole point. If they just run in parallel, you're not helping those groups. What you want to do is you want them all to kind of get closer together so nobody is out of work simply because they're black or Hispanic or what have you, that they narrow as much as you could possibly do it without cultural manipulation. You have to, you can get them. They never went that way. They all just kind of tracked along where they were. And of course, everybody was unemployed during 2020. So
never had it so well. Nobody has. Every group, men, women, Hispanics, Asians, blacks, everybody was down at a level that nobody's ever seen. We had some of the greatest periods of economic growth and health that any country has ever seen.
Bullshit. Just flat out bullshit. We were going to enter into a recession in 2020 because of his tax cuts and a bunch of his other spending shit. But COVID was so bad it hit it.
Probably more than any country has ever seen. In 4 short years under President Trump, we passed the largest tax cuts in history, the largest regulation cuts in history. We unleashed American energy and real income surged by more than $4,200 in just a short number of months. I mean, it was
in all the number of months, which was less than what happened under Obama, which is less than what happened under Biden.
You never had it so good. Now you're not doing so well. I hated it.
Yeah, you guys.
We had the strongest.
All you guys can only be here because you're unemployed, and the guy who owns your credit card debt said if you show up at this rally, he'll write off $300 of it.
Economy in history. There's never been a country that had an economy like us. I gave Harris and Biden an economic miracle, and they quickly turned it into an economic nightmare.
All right, by the way, this is the economic speech. We're going to get a little bit intellectual. This is just blather. This is just populist drivel. I gave them a dream and they turned it into a nightmare. It's worse than a third world country. This is all her fault. People like her, blah, blah, blah. Why did she fix stuff while she was vice president, by the way? The same thing he used against Biden while he was under Obama, because it was Obama's policies ultimately. He could advise him, but he can't write legislation. He can't do anything himself until he's actually president. Same thing with her.
With a nation-wrecking agenda ripped straight out of Kamala's San Francisco liberal playbook, what they've done to poor San Francisco. Well, we're gonna try and bring that back to. Harris and Biden waged war on American energy, threw open our borders, flooded the country with low-wage migrant workers.
Yeah, again, I'm waiting for the economic policy stuff. This just sounds like the same litany of bullshit that we've heard at every other rally.
Passed the Green News scam, racked up almost $10 trillion in debt, and buried our workers in job-killing.
No. 7 of that's yours, dumbass.
Regulations costing $10,000 per family. That's a lot of.
All right. No. Every family in the United States is not paying $10,000 more per year because of regulations. It just flat out isn't happening. It's just ridiculous. I don't even know where the hell that where to even start to getting to that regulations added by the Biden administration are costing the average American family $10,000 a year is just goofy. Like, I honestly don't even know where to start with that one, because I don't even know if what is it, cars? Is it like, I'm trying to make sense of it, which is my mistake. I understand. It's a mental illness that I have. I have to make sense of it. So I have to sift through this bullshit and somehow make it make sense, but it just does not.
Money. You don't have to imagine what a Harris presidency would look like. You're living through the misery right now, except it will get worse, and you're...
You'll have to, because this isn't that bad. So people are like, oh, okay.
Paying the price, a price like nobody's ever paid. And
all right, fuck you. Greatest generation, people during the Depression, like... Jesus Christ, everywhere.
We're disrespected all over the world as a country. We were respected before Putin respected us. President Xi of China respected us. Kim Jong-un of North Korea respected us.
Yeah, they respected you like Jim Henson respects a sock.
We're respected by everybody in the world. Today we're being laughed at.
Every time I pick up the phone. There's always whoever's on the other line. I go, it's Donald Trump, and they just start laughing, and I have to hang up and go, was that the right number?
Today we're being laughed at all over
Yes, you are.
the world.
Yes, you are hilarious.
You're paying the price for Kamala's liberal extremism at the gas pump, at the grocery counter, and on your mortgage bill, and on everything else. How about your car insurance? How's that doing? Not too good, right? I saw.
All right, by the way, real quick. Car insurance is up across the country. You know why? Because people upgraded their cars during COVID. It's one of the things they did with the money that the government gave them and the fact that they couldn't spend it anywhere else. A lot of people bought a newer used car. Remember how hard it was to buy a used car? Because people moved up from the $3,000 beater they had to a $9,000 car that actually fucking worked. So that once the economy started rolling again, and once we got out of this, they could actually drive to work and not have to worry about the fucking thing. Well, guess what happens when you have a more expensive car, no matter what it is, whether you buy a new one or, you invest in, like a brand new one, or you buy one that's just new to you that's more expensive, your insurance goes up, stupid. Insuring a $3,000 car versus a $9,000 car, or a $9,000 car versus a $16,000 car, that it's more expensive. That's why. It's not because the rates went up because you guys all became dangerous drivers during COVID.
Today it's up like 82%. We're not.
No, it isn't.
Going to let this incompetent socialist lunatic keep breaking our economy for 4 more years. It'll destroy our country.
This is the intellectual part, by the way.
On election day, we're going.
It's intellectual for people who've been educated with a banana and an inner tube, maybe.
Going to tell her that we've had enough, that we can't take it anymore.
He sounds like he's had enough and he can't take it anymore.
Kamala, you're doing a horrible job. You were a terrible attorney general. You were a terrible district attorney. You're the worst vice president in history. Kamala, you're fired. Get out of here. Go. Get out of here.
He can't even do it. He can't even just say you're fired and shut the fuck up. He can't say his line. Look how pissed he is. He's so pissed. This is spectacular. Why's my camera out of front here? Hello? Why is it?
Because you're losing light.
Huh? Yeah, that might be it. I'm losing light, so I'm fuzzy.
Use a little lighter there.
Well, it'll just backlight me.
Can I move around?
Probably. Hold on. Enjoy. Talk amongst yourselves. Let's see if I can do it without
Or you can go.
wrecking my. Yeah. Oh, actually, the wire on it's pretty good. Let's see. In the exact same spot. And then
the sun.
Here. Oh, that's very bright. There you go. Something like that. Maybe that'll. There you go. Yeah, it's not half bad. Yeah.
Very smart.
Yeah, I know. You're very smart, babe. I've said so. I ask anybody. So, here we go. I've got 10 more minutes, then we got to take off, right? Oh, that was your alarm. Just look at that.
Right?
Right? No, not right, stupid. I'll just gesture. Take a picture.
Yeah. Boom.
Yeah. Boom.
Get out of here. Right? Get out. Boom.
Get out. You stop, stupid mean lady. Get out. Stop living alone, little bad mean lady. Why won't leave me alone, big mean lady? Lady being mean to me. Go. Like a toddler.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was one of my best deliveries so far.
And they're yelling, fight, fight, fight. Right.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That was not a pleasant day. I'll tell you, front row Joes were there.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Front row.
Oh yeah, I think they were in on it. I wouldn't trust any of them.
Joes were there. They've seen it all, haven't you, huh? You've seen it. That was a
certainly seen this speech before.
Horrible day. That was a terrible day.
Terrible, horrible. Horrible. Horrible, terrible.
She's flip-flopping on every single thing she's ever espoused or believed in, the border, healthcare, crime. But she truly is a radical. She's flip-flopping on everything to get elected. After she gets elected, it all goes right back to where it was. She refuses to do any interviews or press conferences. Almost 30 days now. She hasn't done an interview. You know why she hasn't done an interview? Because she's not smart. She's not intelligent. And we've gone through enough of that with this guy, Crooked Joe. He didn't do interviews either. They kept him in his basement.
Yeah, and then what happens when she does the actual interview and she smokes, you dum-dum?
And essentially they're keeping her in the basement the same way they kept her. They don't want to expose...
Wait, hold on. You're saying you lost to a guy who people preferred somebody they didn't know anything about to you. And they're going to do it again.
Her to like a question like, what did you have for dinner tonight?
Jesus Christ. That's the best. It's the best you can come up with.
Remember, Joe, what kind of ice cream is your favorite? Vanilla. Oh, I like vanilla. Oh. That was George Flopadopoulos. He asked him that. What's your favorite ice cream?
Yeah, no, he didn't.
With me, they asked me a little bit different question.
Yeah? Well, what would that be?
All right. Did everybody the other night see Elon and me? What?
No, they would have heard it.
Great.
Yes, we all thought. We thought far too much of it. Boy.
It was one of the most successful shows ever done. I mean, that was a lot of people like him. I think they like me too, come to think of it. But he's great, and he gave us his full endorsement. He's a great guy, but he basically, he's a guy who doesn't need this stuff. What he wants to do is see our country be great again, and he understands. And it's very hard for him to endorse the opposing party. It's not easy. It's very hard. But
the opposing party.
He really cares about our country, and he knows the opposing party has really destroyed our country and will destroy our country and permanently.
Wait a minute. In this analogy, you are the opposing party. He endorsed you.
This stuff, what he wants to do is see our country be great again, and he understands. And it's very hard for him to endorse the opposing party.
It's very hard for him to endorse the opposing party. And that would be you. He endorsed you. Continue.
Not easy. It's very hard. But
it's not easy. It's very hard. Why is it not easy for him to endorse you, the opposing party? What is it about the opposing party?
He really cares about our country, and he knows the opposing party has really destroyed our country and will destroy our country.
And that would be you. Because he's endorsed you, and you're the opposing party because you're not in power, therefore...
And permanently destroy our country.
Okay, cool. So he's just, in case you're just joining us at home, Donald Trump is saying that he will permanently destroy the country if he gets elected again because Elon Musk wants him to. What?
And he can't watch that, but we had a great chat for 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours being grilled by Elon. And we had a good time, actually. We're talking about something we love, our country. Much easier when you love something, right? She doesn't want anybody to know what she's really for, and that way she can change it, I mean, she'll tell you what she wants and change it the way she wants it.
Somebody please write this down. I think he's going for the kind of chameleon, flexible politician kind of attack. Doesn't really work with him, but sure. Oh, my God.
And ultimately, it'll be the way she wants it. I mean,
Sorry. One more time.
And that way she can change it, I mean, she'll tell you what she wants and change it the way she wants it. And ultimately, it'll be the way she wants it. I mean, the clown that she picked as a vice president, this guy's a clown. He was so bad.
That'll bail you out of that sentence. She'll make it the way she wants it because that's the way she wants it, and if she wants it, that's the way she wants it. I mean, there's this clown she's got over here. Am I right, people?
You know, when Minneapolis was burning down, he didn't want to call in the National Guard. I got him on the phone. You got to get the National Guard. Get it, get it, get it. I'm telling you, if I did...
He literally called it in before he talked to Trump.
...force it upon him...
Bullshit. There's a recording.
You might not have the city. Remember CNN standing up?
Excuse me, we don't. Minneapolis is gone. I'm sorry. Hashtag RIP Minneapolis.
This is a season of love. This is one... this is a very peaceful protest, and the whole city is burning down behind him. You ever see anything? As far as the eye could see, the whole thing looked like World War II. Speaking of World War III,
that's amazing. That's...
And the whole city is burning down behind him. You ever see anything? As far as the eye could see, the whole thing looked like World War II. Speaking of World War III.
It's difficult for me to fathom that this guy could get worse at this, and yet he always manages to surprise me. One more time.
And the whole city is burning down behind him. You ever see anything? As far as the eye could see, the whole thing looked like World War II. Speaking of World War III.
That's amazing.
I'll keep you out of World War III. He's going to put you in World War III. We're very close.
How close are we?
You're very close to being in a war, a big war, a world war.
If I do say so myself.
You're very close. We've never been this close, and we have incompetent people in the...
We've been way closer a lot of times.
It has grossly...
Especially during the actual Cold War.
Incompetent people.
Which you could argue was World War III.
There was no reason for Russia and Ukraine to go at it. There was no reason for Israel to be attacked on October 7th. Would have never happened. But a politician will always go back to where they started, and on November 6th...
Oh, so you're going to go back to being voting Democratic like you did in the 90s and being pro-choice?
She will be a San Francisco liberal, again, destroying everything in sight. I wonder what she does after this. Our country will never recover, especially when added to the destruction they've already caused over the last almost 4 years. Think of our country.
This is the economic speech, by the way. Just trying to remind everybody. This is got. Hold on. Did I get something on? Hold on. This is driving me crazy. Okay, it's a little better, I guess.
Think of the border. Think of what happened. We had the best border. You know my all-time favorite graph, right?
Oh, God.
That is my all...
Yeah, because it saved my life. If I hadn't turned to look at that thing, then he wouldn't have tried to shoot you in the face, and he would have taken longer waiting for you to look that way, and then he never even would have hit you.
All-time favorite graph, not only because it shows the best border, but for another reason. I tell you what, I'm glad I looked around to look at it. Go, wah, pew. That was...
Wah, pew.
That's...
I feel like I was there.
It's my favorite of all time. Even if it was what? Bullshit? Wah, pew. Bing bong, bing bong. And we're going to fight again. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, but I'm dead inside. None of this is working for me. It's sorry. Limp as a dead fish. Nothing's gonna happen. It's
Even if it were bad numbers, negative numbers, I still think it would be my favorite of all time. If Harris wins this election, the result will be a Kamala economic crash, a 1929 style depression.
Yeah, that's what you said about Biden as well. And the stock market is double under him what it was under your administration.
29.
In one term.
In
one term. I don't even think people can comprehend that.
Win the election, we will immediately begin a brand new Trump economic boom. It'll be a boom. We're going to turn this country around so fast.
Yes, take us back to when our GDP was what, less than $1 billion? We will turn America, the economy around. I know it's headed towards low unemployment, higher wages, more job and worker safety, prosperity. We're going to turn it right back around, 180 degrees, baby, right back to child labor and tetanus at every work site.
Many people say that the
Oops, sorry. That froze up. That's fun. Huh. Well, I think that's a good place to bow out. Apparently, it froze. Did it get better after time? I guess not. Hold on. There you go. Nope. Just stuck. All right. You know what? Screw them. It's perfect timing, anyways. I got to go to dinner with my gal. We're gonna head over to the Magic Kingdom for our final night here. It's gonna be lovely. They're open late tonight, so we're gonna try and ride the Tron ride again. Very exciting. Do I have? Let's see if I can show you one thing. I don't know if it's transferred over or not. Library. There you go. And move this over here. Scroll down. There's that. No, maybe it's in there. Nope, not yet. I have to wait for it to update for my iCloud sync. But I'll show you those things this weekend. They made a video of the Tron ride for us. That when you do it, it's pretty spectacular. Hopefully we'll do it again. Thank you guys for the support and for tuning in tonight. I know these are odd hours, and I greatly appreciate it. Templeton, merci. Love you, Hal. Can you bump up Greg's? Okay, yes, I did that. Thank you. Tom Wright, thank you. Miss Allie and Company. Today is Steve Martin's birthday. Didn't know if you knew that. Have a great evening. Yes. Barbara Lanky, thank you so much for the super chat. Michael, thank you. Let's protect our kids and help prevent nuclear war. I think that's wise. Yeah. A tea or coffee for you. Thank you, Jerry, for that. Appreciate it. And then Pokey, thank you for the super chat, dog. And then oops, I went past that. Paisley Jane, thank you so much, and Seahawk, thank you so much as well. Billy Idol, Platinum Blonde, London, Ontario, living the 80s dream. Excellent. Miss Allie and Company, thank you again. I've lived in California for 66 years. I love it here. It's spectacular. I agree. Andrew, thank you so much. Learning so much about the economy. Wicked smart. Thanks, Edward. And for the super sticker. And Sandy, thank you for my trouble. Well, thank you. I take it on. Yeah. Hold on. And of course, right at the end, my mom sends a message that my sister and her husband have COVID. And they're under the weather. And that's scene. It's so my mom. For those of you who don't know, when my dad calls me or messages me, it's because somebody's dead. If my mom does it because she's slightly younger than him, it's because somebody's sick. So that's the arc of time playing out right in front of you. Thank you, Julie, as well. And thank you, Tabitha, for the super chat. And I will pass along the happy birthday to Summer. Thank you, guys. Oh, my God. 149,000 messages in the chat on my end. What? That's nuts. Good Lord. What a wonderful thing. It's lovely to have you guys as part of the conversation. Yes, Summer's laughing in the background. And thank you guys so much, and I will see you guys later. Yes, good night, Gracie. There you go. All right, I'm going to let you guys go. I think this button works. Let's find out. Okay, see you later. Wow. Does the music sound weird, or is it just me? Sounds all garbled and stuff on my end. Maybe it's fine on your end. Sounds fine? Okay. Okay. Excellent. Okay, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good night.